Hey, so there's a lot of stuff going on. um, I'm doing a little different vlog post right now because I really want to just touch on what's happening with everything in the past week, or has it been more? So, quite honestly, starting from the beginning, I found out about everything happening over this past weekend because I've kind of just been off of social media. Like, I just needed a minute because of school and all of these other things. So I was off social media. I didn't really know what was happening. I found out over the weekend what happened to Mr. Floyd, what happened with that lady whose name is escaping me, that was saying that she was gonna call the cops and just say that it was a black man, that she was fearful for her life because it was a black man there. I forgot her name. You know who I'm talking about. But I found out about all of this and I'm just like, what in the actual hell is going on? Like, I really want to curse, but I'm also really trying not to be that offensive on this outlet of mine. I want people to be able to see without a problem. I don't want to curse that heavy, but that's kind of just how I felt. I just felt like, what the actual F is happening? I don't know, but it's just a lot. It really is a lot because it's just a lot. You have this situation with that's been going on for a while. And you know it's been going on for a while. It's been happening. I feel like it's been worse ever since Obama was president. When Obama became president, things just started going on like a downhill spiral of people really showing their racism, like before that, people were just kind of like, that was like the worst thing you can tell a white person, like that was like the worst thing you can say, calling them a racist, because they wouldn't want to be anywhere near that statement. They didn't want anyone knowing basically about how they felt about things. And you know what? Okay, I understand that there are preconceived notions. People grow up with preconceived notions. Every single person has a bias. It's understandable. Letting that bias take a hold of you to that extent for you to do something like that to a person you're supposed to be protecting, okay, yeah, sure. Whatever the case may be, for you to have to arrest somebody, fine. I mean, I used to work in a shelter, so I used to be like this with the cops in the first place, because every now and again, I can't deal with this mess. I'm just going to call the cops on you because you're doing too much. And those situations, understandable. They're out there doing what they got to do. But for you to not be able to read a room, like I think that's like the best way that I can explain it right now. For you to not be able to know how to deal with a situation, how to read a room, so that you don't end up bringing harm to whoever it is that you're supposed to be arresting, or just calming down, or whatever the case may be, that on why you got called to a scene. You not being able to do any of that just brings it down to like, what the hell are you being, what the hell. I'm not trying to sit here. I don't want to say that what you do doesn't matter, because it does. You are the police force. You are here to help and protect and serve people. Like, you are here to help when people need help. You are not here to automatically think that you have to just down this person because he scares you. That's not how this works. There are people that do need excessive force because they're doing too much. I understand that. But you, being that you are able to walk around with a gun, you automatically have to be held a little higher. It's like saying, like, I'm going for nursing right now. So it's like saying, oh, hey, I'm not going to give CPR to that person over there that's obviously choking because they were rude to me right before they did it. I would lose my license. So why the hell aren't they losing their jobs? If that's the same case. I like, you have to try to take these situations and properly reverse them. And not even just that, you have to understand everything that's going on because, like I said, I understand that there's different sides. I understand that sometimes they have to be a little bit more forceful. I understand people just do too much sometimes. But what cause could there really be to still have a knee to a neck after you already have them handcuffed and on the ground? What reason? Why? It just doesn't make sense. And all of it just doesn't make sense because why do you automatically feel like you have to pull your weapon out right away? You're supposed to be trained better than that. And if you're not, then that's another issue that needs to be addressed. But I'm kind of going off. I'm going all over. I'm sorry. I know that I'm kind of going all over the place. I didn't want to have to edit this. I wanted this to be raw and real. So let me just like bring it back to when I found out about everything and when the protests started happening. So when the protests started happening and I just saw how it was going on all over the world and it was everywhere. It was everywhere. It was everyone. It was mixed. It was people. It was other cops. It was other white people. It's everything and it means so much. It really means a lot because you see that this is something that shouldn't be happening. It shouldn't be. People, I don't even know what I want to say with that. I'm sorry. But like, people should be getting charged on their actual actions. Not because of what they say, because you're being rude, or because of how you look. What you are actually doing is what matters for that situation. Like even when I was at the shelter, when situations happened and cops needed to be called, there were situations where someone clearly stated, you know what, I'm gonna fight. I'm not getting arrested. You ain't gonna arrest me. I'm gonna fight it. So the cops' response was, okay, I'm just gonna get back up because, he has to make sure he's okay, which is understandable. And here I am the whole while just saying, dude, don't do that. Like, if you resist arrest, it'll take longer for you to come out. They're doing this as a thing because they have to. You'll be out by tomorrow. Like, honest, like, truth in the matter, full disclosure, it was kind of like a domestic violence dispute that happened, which is another reason why why it had to go down that way. But like, honest to God, he did not have to try to fight it. That situation could have turned out bad. But I say again, it comes down to the individual because not all cops think that way. Not all cops respond that way. In my head, because I'm a New Yorker, I feel like New York City in the general, like New Yorkers in general, whether they're a cop or not, is not for that bullshit in the first place. Excuse my, I'm sorry. I'm trying not to curse. Okay. But yeah, New Yorkers is not for that in the first place. So even their cops is on some, we're not doing this. Understandably, I've seen the same videos that everybody's been seeing. How some NYPD cops are in there or just pushing people. How they're in their cars trying to get out of the situation, like running it into the crowd. I see it. I understand it. I understand that there is a reason behind it because like I said before, everything has its own sides. You're still talking about human beings here. These are still human beings that have to do a job. Their job is to put themselves in danger so that they can protect you. So when people that shouldn't be trying to do too much because we're out here trying to do a peaceful protest, but then there are some people that's going to take that and twist it and make it into their own thing, and that's what they do. And now the cops are here having to deal with that situation so that other things doesn't get destroyed, other people don't get hurt. People are setting fires. Do you know how many people could end up dead because of one single fire? They need to try to stop that from happening. So understandably, they're going too hard. Understandably, it can become a little bit more aggressive. In other states, there's been reports of that kind of excessive force happening without there being any kind of violence happening first. And it's hard to even be able to tell what's happening first or not, regardless of the fact. Regardless of the fact, it just comes down to the simple fact that people are upset. This is what's happening. And we shouldn't have to do it in the first place. That's just what it comes down to. There's rioting. There's protest, there's rioting, there's looting. None of it should happen in the first place. There is no reason that any of this should be happening in the first place, because we should be a little better by now. Not saying that it would have completely been gone, but we should be better by now. And I'm not even going to get into the political aspects of it, because Lord knows I'm not going to even bother with that. It just comes down to the person, and it comes down to people. And we have to also remember that this kind of behavior is learned. No one is born thinking that they're better than another. No one is born like that. No one, ever. No one at all, period. That's it. No one is born that way. People get learned to that as they get older. I honestly didn't even think it was that huge of a thing when I was growing up. Like, I thought, okay, yeah, this is a thing. This happens. There's obviously a distinction between white culture and black culture. There's obviously a distinction when you're being a little bit too white, or however people want to call it. They'll call you an Oreo. They want to see you as this. But like, my favorite show when I was younger was Clueless, because I was just like, yes, I need to be like that in that type of situation. I need to be someone that's just gonna have all of this wealth. Like, that's what I wanted to have and be in that kind of situation. And in my head at the time, it wasn't seen as something that's just like either being fake or just not being a realistic ideology or anything like that. I wasn't seeing it in terms of black versus white. I didn't start seeing it until I was in high school. It wasn't a thing that even occurred to me until then. So if I can say that even for me, I wasn't seeing things as either black or white until I was older, how the hell is anyone expected to be like, oh yeah, they're inherently racist? No. I don't even think that people are inherently, like, you get taught that. You really do get taught it. It happens like that. It happens about what you see. It happens about how you grew up. It happens that way. And you're not going to understand how it feels to have someone judge you like that until you are a minority. And let's be honest. You know damn well that if we could change races, ain't nobody would try to be black. You know that. If we could do that, if we could just be like, you know what, yeah, like, I'm actually just taking this from a comedian that I saw talk about it before. Can't remember his name. But if we were able to be like, yeah, I can just change bodies and be a different race or whatever, you think anyone would really willingly become a black person? No. And that right there, knowing that information, knowing that answer is the problem. Because it shouldn't matter. But as I said, it wasn't that long ago that everything happened, that we're not going to be there yet, but we should be moving there a little easier. We should be moving there a little bit more better. I'm sorry. I, again, have to get myself a tripod. But yeah, on another quick note about the actual protest, I want to again say thank you to all the people that be out here protesting with us and not following it up with that other all life matters stuff. Please, no. It doesn't, no. Right now, that's not what we're talking about. Thank you. for being a part of Black Lives Matter. Thank you for showing up, for showing out, and putting it out there that it needs to change. I wholeheartedly thank you for that. I was on my way home the other night, and that's who I saw. I just saw like a group of white people with signs for Black Lives Matter, like they were coming home from the protest or going to another one. I'm not sure, but it touched me right here. It really did, because this is what we needed. This is how it should have been happening all these years before, when other injustices was going on. And you know what? My boyfriend made a point, and other people has made this point, that this is probably even more so of a bigger scale because we are in a pandemic. Ain't no one have anything else to do with their time but be at home and look at the news. No one else has anything else to do. You can't distract yourself with sports. You can't distract yourself by going to a bar. You can't distract yourself by going to a nightclub or a concert. You have to pay attention to what's happening, because if not, then you really are just under a rock, and that's never good. That's never good. It's never good to be misinformed, but it's also not good to be informed of just one thing. And I try my best to make sure that when I'm finding out information about all that's happening right now, that I am looking at all sides, looking at all avenues. But I'm just that type of person that thinks that way. It kind of drives me crazy half the time, but it's helpful in these kind of situations. So, again, I say thank you to those protesters. And a quick little thought process. I know I'm jumping all over the place, but like, let me just really quickly. We have to now, because of these lootings, please stop. Like, if you're one of the people that's looting, that's destroying things, please, 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 please stop. Like, I understand why it's happening. I understand the pain and the frustration to want to do it, but now that's all the media is talking about. They're not talking about the reason behind it. They're talking about just that it's looting, that people are just doing this, people are just doing that, and they're not even talking about the reason why it's happening in the first place. I read a post online that was saying that basically she was comparing all of this happening, the protest and the looting, to kids in the classroom. If a kid in the classroom is throwing a tantrum, they try to that's called a trauma, and everyone gets together to try to support them. So, and she goes on to say that rioting is the trauma. It is, because it is the trauma. That's why people are rioting. That's why people are protesting in the first place. And everyone getting together to show up and support is the help that's needed to help heal that trauma. I'm hoping that the looting stops, because I don't see. I understand why. Like I said, I do understand why it's happening, but it doesn't help. It doesn't truly help people remember why. So this is a quick little shout out to the people that's been trying to stop people from doing that kind of thing. Thank you for putting yourself in the middle between someone in a rock and a goddamn store that you ain't even getting paid to do. So I give you that, for real, for real. That's like very admirable of you. I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and say that if I was walking by, I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna do that, because you know what? You know what would be even better? Actually, do it to the big conglomerate. Like, let me not give. Hold on. Let me stop. Let me not give nobody no ideas. Sorry, that's not the point. That is not the point. I'm not giving no ideas. That's for private conversation with friends. No, no, no. I don't need anybody trying to flag my stuff down. Not happening. I'm trying to make this as peaceful as I can. But thanks, again, I just completely segued. Thanks to these riots, like I was trying to keep saying. I'm trying to get to a point here. Okay. But thanks to these riots, we are in a curfew. Like, Monday, it was 11 p.m. Blackout Tuesday was 8 p.m. And I think it's going to be 8 p.m. again today. And I'm here like, yo, now we got to worry about that. I feel like we're like one step closer to being on some purge shit, but excuse my, oh God, sorry. But I don't want that. I don't want no purge thing going on. Lord, no, please. No, 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 no. But I also don't want there to be a whole craziness of now we have to have curfews indefinitely because of like we have, but like we are still in the pandemic. You know, we're still hoping that this comes out, that like we're able to come out of it for at least the summer, like something. But something I found out about when curfew hit for because when curfew hit on Monday for 11 p.m., it didn't stop anything really. Looting still continued, and that's just what was going to happen. But when it went for 8 p.m. yesterday, I come to find out that still, until whatever hour of the night, there were still people walking across the Brooklyn Bridge protesting, and it was all white people. Let me walk through this. Let me talk through this real quick. There was a curfew that was put into effect that people would get arrested or worse if caught out after 8 p.m. There were still protesters past this time. They were all white. At least this is what I was hearing. Walking across the Brooklyn Bridge. There wasn't much black people involved in that. Most likely because the black people went home during the curfew. For the curfew time, so they wouldn't get caught out there, so nobody would try some madness and start some stupidness because they called a black person past curfew. And no, we're not doing that. Black people went home. The white people kept marching. The white people kept protesting. The white people were basically saying, you ain't gonna do that with me. It would be really, really great if it was known for sure that that's the reason why they kept doing it. Like they knew that they wouldn't have been stopped if they just kept going, even though there was a curfew in effect. If they knew that was the case and they went for it anyway, because they weren't, because obviously, like, that's basically what I'm saying is that's the point. If no one, if you really can see where the difference lies there, because let's be honest, there would have been way more issues if last night there were people of color out in them streets after 8 o'clock. There would have been issues, serious issues, whether they were protesting or not. There would have been issues up the wazoo, and you know that nothing like that happened. You're barely even here. I didn't even really hear about it. My mom is the one that told me that there was like a protest. There was still protesting last night. No other, from my knowledge, because I had to be at work today, so I couldn't really look into it more. But that is the point, for them to still be like, hey, yeah, we'll still be out here marching because Black Lives Matter. Thank you, because you is what this is great. It's great. Thank you. You still kept it going, but also for the fact that you were able to keep it going when if it was other people of color that was out there past 8 o'clock could have had a real serious issue occur if that had happened, and that not happened to you. Again, is the point. And I hope to God that those protesters realize this and they understand it and they damn near try it again. Go ahead and try it again. Because I really do truly believe that that's not going to be the case. But then again, I also just truly believe that New Yorkers just know how to make this happen. I don't think they're going to be too extreme. I hope not. Let me not put my own foot in my mouth with that comment. Oh God, I can't even. All right, whatever. My arm is kind of tired, but I'm gonna make it happen. But yeah, that's just awesome to hear, and it's just great. And I actually want to be protesting as well, but I do still remember that we in a pandemic, and I'm worried for being sick, for getting sick. It's very hard to breathe in an N95 mask if you guys don't know already. Like a proper N95 mask where you can make sure that you're not getting caught with anything. It's hard to breathe in that. So being out in the protest, yelling, or just even there, just breathing in one of them things is just very hard to do. Okay, I can't. But yeah. Not even just that too. I just have school and work as well. Like it's hard to try to get to anything when I have to worry about the mounting homeworks and assignments that I have to do, which I do still have to do some now. Yeah. So I just wanted to, I know I kind of was all over the place, and I apologize for my thoughts being all over the place. But it just needs to stop. We need a change, and we just need a change. Whew, let me calm down for a second because I'm not trying to cry on camera. Okay. But yeah, we need a change. It needs to happen. It needs to start now. We need to do better. We all need to do better. We just need to do better. And the way that we start is properly make sure that anybody that does that gets punished accordingly. That's it. They should be held accountable for their actions, and that should just be all it is. That's all there is to it. Hold them accountable, every single one of them accountable, because there were other people there and they did get charged. Okay, yeah, sure. This needs to go through though, because people's been charged before and then still walked. This needs to go through. We need to make sure that it goes through. So please don't stop. Even if things open up for a bit, things make a little better, people start remembering again that there's a pandemic and they can't do anything, just please don't stop. Demand justice, demand change. Because I honestly, I don't want to be afraid. I don't want to be afraid going to the store. I don't want to be afraid talking to a cop. I don't want to be afraid for any of those things. I don't. It's annoying. I can't. Like, I don't want that to be a thing for anyone at all, period. The end. If you know that you don't have malicious in your heart, if you know that you're not trying to be a crap human being, if you know that you're not trying to be like that in the first place, you should not feel that way. You should not feel like that on a constant basis just when you're just encountering an officer for any reason. It shouldn't be a thing. It shouldn't be a thing. So yeah, those are my thoughts. Quarantine vlogging, protest hits, justice for George Floyd, justice for all of them, man. I want to burn it to the ground, but I know that we really can't do that either, because I'm trying to be a decent human being. But it needs to change. It needs to stop. And it starts with us. It starts with us. Millennials, Gen Zers, all of it. It starts with us. We need to do better. We need to make it happen. We need to be serious about it. We need to make our voices be heard properly. So, whatever that looks like to you, go with your truth, man. And no, this is not an automatic comment saying, oh, she said to go with my truth, so now I'm breaking into this store. No, that's not what I mean. And that's not what I mean. So please do not take anything I'm saying and twisting it in some kind of negative light, because I'm trying my damnedest to not even be one side or the other about anything. I just want there to be change. I just want there to be justice. You should too. We're all human beings. We should be treated as such. That's all there is to it. Yeah. Thanks for watching this, close to a half-hour video. How? I didn't expect to talk for that long. I apologize. Well, no, I don't. Sorry, not sorry. It needed to be said. Even though it was jumbled, it needed to be said. Thank you for listening. Hit like and subscribe. Later.